Welcome to Leaders in Light, Love, and Legacy, your sacred space where presence meets purpose and where your inner truth is refined into visible leadership. And we're going to be talking about a great type of leadership today. I am Joy Ruffen, and each week we gather to elevate the way you show up in the world through authentic confidence, intentional style, and leadership that leaves a lasting legacy. This is more than a conversation, it's an awakening, a refinement, a return to who you truly are. You are invited to join me every Tuesday from 6 to 7 p.m. Eastern because we are streaming on my website, and the theme this month is the power to care and the power to lead. And we're going to be talking a lot about that today in a different format, but you're going to love it. I want you now to just take a breath, sit back, get comfortable, relax. And I want to introduce you to our featured guest speaker. But before I do that, I want to read off a little bit, just a little bit about her background, because her background is never ending. Aren't we all in that grouping? But it's fascinating. Tina Weiss is an entrepreneurial visionary, author, speaker, and nonprofit founder. And we'll speak a little bit about that today. Her career spans more than 30 years. Hard to believe. This is radio only audio, but when you get to see her and see her energy and her vibe and her vitality, you're going to understand how she has built businesses in fashion, textile, skincare, wellness, and philanthropic work while living and working in New York City, California. And throughout her career, Tina has been passionate about helping others discover their strength, purpose, and their potential. Now, I want you, as I began to say, just to sit back, relax, and help me welcome Tina. Tina Weiss, as they say on the telly, come on up and welcome. Great to have you here.
Hi, Joy. Thank you so much for having me. I am so excited to share my story with you and your audience.
Well, I'm excited to have you share because I've known you, Tina, my love, for quite a while. And it's like when we met for the first time, and it's never a lasting time. It's always too short. Now, you have a book that you've written. It's called Fear to Faith. I love the name, Fear to Faith, Faith. I want you to tell me a little bit about this book, and then I want you to talk to us about what you mean when you say, be your authentic self. So however you want to combine them, share with us how you came to this.
Okay, well, first of all, the book itself, Fear to Faith, is based on survival, self-discovery through spirituality. Because, Joy, we all go through a survival point in our lives, and we're constantly going through it without us even realizing it. And once we go through our pain or a survival situation, we open our eyes and we say, wow, you know what? It's a lot of self-discovery. And we discover certain things that we didn't know before we went through the trauma and said, wow, this really opened up a whole other spot of opportunities, because now you've learned from that survival or that painful and traumatic experience. So we realize that after the fact. But every day, it seems to me that most women that I know, whether you're entrepreneurs, whether you're business women, whether you're caretakers or single moms, we all have one thing in common. Women seem to give and give pieces of themselves every day, taking care of everyone all day long. And we forget about us. And I've spoken to a few of my friends, and we're having a conversation, we're having a glass of wine, and all of a sudden, my friend says to me, I'm looking in the mirror and said, I don't know who I am. And I looked at her and I said, oh my God, me too. What happened? But as we grow and we go through decades, I've gone through decades of learning because I have been an entrepreneur, built each company from the ground up. And look, I've had my success, I've had my failures. You can't be successful without failing because you don't know where to go. And you've learned so much. But when we're in our 20s, 30s, and 40s, and even in our 50s, it changes. We're excited. We have that energy in our 20s. We can accomplish anything. I can do it. don't tell me anything, and you go for it. You know,
Yeah.
right? Don't we do that? Like
Yes,
we're
yes.
finding our way and we're like opening up and like, oh, I'm going to try that. Oh, maybe not. That doesn't seem so great.
No, no, Tina, and I get that. And what I get, and I'm sure those who are tuning in now and those who will be for the replay and listen to it as we go out global all over the world, that what you just said about how we give ourselves away, pieces of ourselves, and then we turn around, and usually that's in whatever midlife is for the individual. That's when the seasons of life begin to blossom. And then you say, what happened?
What happened?
Because you've given so much of yourself away. So I really get that. And especially now in that we're in the Insta society and it's really all about, especially for women, anti-aging. But what do you mean when you say, I love the title of your book and how it ties in and connects to all of these things you're sharing with us? How about that giving away pieces of ourselves? Where do we begin and how do we begin to set those boundaries?
Correct. And that's what the whole book is about. So as I was going through many years of challenges during COVID, unfortunately, I had a dental surgery that went wrong. And
Oh,
I literally was in chronic pain for 3 years and lost the ability to speak properly. And
oh,
at that point, it was so devastating, I lost my identity. And that's when I was rebuilding my Hugs and Smiles Children's Foundation, providing music, art, and dance programs to underprivileged kids.
yes, yes.
And that was my heart. But when everything was lost and I couldn't speak any longer and my head was pounding every day, all of a sudden I have nothing left. And for almost 3 years, I hid under the covers. And I know a lot of other women and other people, not only women, during COVID, they've lost their identity. It wasn't only we've all gone through that. So everyone decided to shift. And how could they pivot? Some people made a success out of it. Some people till this day are still struggling. So what I have learned that, you know what, it's perseverance and family and friends who are supportive, who care. This is the only way you will get through those hard times.
Exactly. And I completely agree with you. But you threw me a loop there because I said, wow, which is a big word for all of us. Did I hear you say that during COVID and shortly after you went through the dental surgery, and during that time when you kind of lost the ability to speak, you founded this Hugs and the foundation that you have? Is that when you founded Hugs and
No,
Smiles?
oh no, I started Hugs and Smiles
Oh, before.
I actually started it in 2002 in California when I was living there. And at that time, we helped kids get adopted. But
Okay.
right, but now I reopened it, moving to Florida, I reopened it in 2018 because I realized the arts heal the hearts. And I'm
Yes.
very connected to music, art, and dance. And I've noticed working with kids, this is what brings them joy. And because your name is Joy, you know that you like to bring joy, Joy. But in addition, it really, when you see a child's face light up, giving them the opportunity to do a dance routine or sing or create a piece of art, and you have a weekly program, the excitement and the expression and the passion that they exude is so beyond words. It just makes you feel good from the heart.
Absolutely.
And
I
that's
agree.
really what makes a difference. That's really what helps you excel. So that was
I
my joy.
I
So
agree with you. Now I understand it. I thought it was during the COVID that you did, but I thought, and something said it was before. But what I really love is your tagline because it's so fitting. Art heals the heart, and especially for kids when they're developing and evolving themselves, as we all continue to do. But that's a time when it's really crucial. And it broke my heart. When was it? Several years ago, when they wanted to throw away a lot of the art programs for kids. And I'm so glad you stuck with that. But you also said something else that during COVID, many people, and especially women, I suppose, but we're talking predominantly for women, but we're talking for both, divine male and female, lost their whatever. But I think a lot of people gained another insight too. As most things are, there's a duality. You gain or you lose, and you just decide on how you're going to do that. So
correct.
how did that give you the impetus to choose faith? Because you have had such a life. So share some more about all the trials and errors that you've gone through and how that led you to choose faith from fear to faith, the title of your book, which is absolutely fantastic.
Okay, well, I was raised in an Orthodox Jewish upbringing, and faith has always been embedded in me. And
Mm-hmm.
before World War II, my grandfather immigrated from Poland. He is an Orthodox rabbi. And I remember in New York when I was 6 years old, where I grew up, I was 6 years old, and we used to go on the Sabbath to temple to pray.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes.
that day is a day of rest, whether you're Catholic, Christian, Jewish. Saturday or Sunday is your day of rest.
Right,
But
right.
in faith, in the Orthodox faith, we didn't turn on lights, we didn't drive, we didn't go to a store. We prayed, we came home, we had an incredible dinner, lunch and dinner to celebrate our faith and God. And
Yeah.
with that, the morals and the values and the clarity that I was raised with really was embedded in my heart. So my heart and my soul always had the faith in me.
I like that.
But, what's very interesting, a lot of us have grown up with faith, but we don't tap into it. We forget about it because of all the noise and all the things that we think we're supposed to do, or people are telling us what to do,
Yes.
not what we really should do, because there are so many outside factors coming to us at once, because we are women and we're strong and we can do it.
And we're stronger than we know. We're stronger than we accept. And that's why what you
That's
wrote
it.
here and what you're about is so prevalent and so timely, Tina, because fear to faith, because the way you just express it, and you mentioned that word noise, and with technology, there's so much out here now, it can be very confusing for far too many of us. So the
Exactly.
timing on this is excellent. Yes.
Exactly. So I finally decided to take this trip after 3 years. And not only was I going through this dental issue, but I watched the slow decline of my dad through COVID as well, which was very difficult. So,
I can imagine.
him seeing me at the end when I was able to see him back in New York, he looked at me and my body. I'm only 95 pounds, but I got down to 79 pounds.
Oh my
Because I
God.
couldn't speak, I couldn't eat, I wasn't feeling well. And seeing him look at me, and I was worried because he was on his decline.
You're worried about him.
And
Yeah.
he's looking at me and his heart was breaking. And that
Oh,
broke my heart more.
oh my goodness.
It
My
was
goodness. Your life experiences and what you've gone through and the title of the book and how you've tied it all together and how you're sharing your story of from fear to faith and how you've become so strong and so loving and outgoing. It's a mantra for all of us to take in to heart and soul. So good for you. How did you have and you're saying to people, choose faith, but what you're saying is that we've always had faith. Did I hear you say something like that?
I
We've always,
think
yes.
I think most people have it, and some families it is embedded in their life and
Yes.
and infiltrated on an everyday basis. But I think what happens is people get too busy to really tap into that. So I
Good word,
know
good.
that it's really there. But what I've experienced is when you lose everything and there is nothing left, whether it's financial, whether it's a personal loss, a death in the family, a divorce somebody wants to,
Mhm.
you know,
Yes.
you go through your fear, not knowing how to get past it. And that's when you open up to faith. Like after everything is stripped away, where do you go? I believe faith comes into everyone who is in that position because there's nothing more to get.
Yes.
Where do you see? Where do you go? Who do you hear? And that was the only thing that actually saved me while I was on this incredible nightmare in
Ooh.
Italy. Which
This happened while you were in Italy?
that's why the book is called Fear to Faith. It took place in Italy. So after all these challenges that I was having, I said, I have to go and heal. And I decided to take a month and say, after everything I've gone through, I had another surgery that helped me speak a little bit better. I felt a little bit better. I went off in April 2024 to see friends in Paris and London. My
Yes.
niece was doing a semester of college in Florence. I said, you know what? This is the perfect time for me to go.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Started in Florence. I was going to Venice, then Paris and London. What was amazing to me, I was so excited to heal and reconnect and have and reclaim my purpose and my passion again. And I figured this from the arts and the architecture and the music, all I was is inspiring. I couldn't wait to go. So I packed my bags and off I went. Little did I know, I was robbed within 3 days, left
Oh gosh,
with no passport,
that's funny.
no money, no credit cards, no other form of ID. And literally, I did not think I was going to make it home alive.
Oh my God.
This journey was the worst nightmare of my life. And I really was unsure. I thought I was going to possibly die on the streets of Italy and no one knowing where I was. My family didn't know where I was with no ID. How do I survive?
My goodness.
So that's where the
This
book.
Tina, this story is beyond mind-boggling because it's just hard to perceive. I mean, you read about things like this, but when you meet somebody who's gone through this, it's a whole different saga. And yet, one of the bullet points that you gave that you wanted to talk about, and how does gaining this faith after all of this nonsense happening to you, how did that lead you to forgiveness, which is such a beautiful big word, but not a easy word to come by?
You know, there have been so many things that have happened to me, but maybe because I'm an adventurer and
Yeah.
I put myself in the line of fire all the time because I feel like I can achieve it. Like I felt there was a purpose and a calling for everything I've done. And then when it was starting to take a sour note, I said, wait a minute. I can't continue. There were people who were just draining my energy. And ladies, and for all of you out there, I know it happens to you too. I'm not alone in this. You're all
No.
part of this. This is what we all have in common here. So I knew that if I didn't let go, and if I didn't let go of that anger, whether it be my business, of all my businesses that I've created, whether while I was in Italy and the promises and what I had to go through, if I didn't let go of that, I wouldn't be able to be here to talk about this.
Wow.
My heart wouldn't be able to be on camera. And honestly, I never wanted to write this book. I had no intention of writing this book.
Tina, I think that's so brave of you, and I don't believe in putting tiaras on people's heads, but I tell you, when I read through all that you share with me about this journey that you've been on, and you're so right, so many women, myself included to an extent, you don't share this stuff out there. You only give the highlights and the better part of the essence of you. But there's always that other side. They're mailing together, and you have to be able to speak to both of them. So I applaud you for that, because that's how I guess this fear to faith is a reminder for all of us that life's greatest setbacks can become your greatest comebacks.
Correct. Absolutely. And I believe, look, I'm here talking to you, which I never intended, like I said, never intended to write the book. But when I got home from this crazy journey and what I had gone through, and I was talking to God through my whole journey, and I said, I have escaped death twice before in my life. You cannot leave me to die on the streets of Italy without anyone knowing where I was. And I said, there's got to be a bigger calling. And at that moment, I heard my grandfather in his broken English.
Oh my goodness.
It was so intense. I felt it. He was like on my shoulder. And I felt it in my heart saying, it's not your time. You believe in God. You're strong. You have courage. You can do this. There's more for you. Don't give up. And at that point, I bolted from a scenario that I didn't think I was going to survive in Italy. And here I am to tell the tale. But every day I had conversations with God, asking him, why am I continuing to have to go through this hell? Every single day, how have I survived all of this? You can't keep on taking this from me now. You can't keep on giving me this hardship anymore. How do I get through it? And for whatever reason, I kept on hearing my grandfather. I kept on hearing my mom. Don't give up. You're going to make it home.
And you know what, Tina? I love meeting and greeting and chatting and sharing with people, and I can't tell you how many times, not on the telly, but people that I've met with who are comfortable enough to share intimate moments and whatever, when they said to me they've gone through some very trying time, and through loved ones and through the higher source, whatever he or she or it might be for that individual, they've heard, not your time, not your time.
Right.
And I think that for those who are not aware of, there's so much more to this life here on this earth plane than we can even imagine. And if we don't think beyond it and go to whatever the higher source is, we lose ourselves. Not your time. You know, I have to ask, I ought not to, but that never fits into my vocabulary. How long did it take you, after losing all of your vital information, to gather stuff together to get back home?
Well, it was like a 2-week span of what happened in Florence after a couple of days trying to get, at least to have my passport. First robbery,
yeah.
I was in Florence. The first robbery happened in Florence. So my wallet was stolen with all my ID and my credit cards and my money, but my passport remained at the hotel.
Okay,
So
good.
that was a good thing, as so I thought.
A blessing.
Right. My niece came and said, Aunt Tina, I know you canceled all your credit cards. You're leaving and you're going to get your new one that's going to Venice. Here is $1,000 in cash. You can continue your trip and everything will be okay. I said, okay, that's fine. However, everything I have gone through, and the first day of me leaving to get to Miami airport, that was a whole other mishap as well. So from day one, whatever could go wrong did go wrong. And if you really want to know the story, you read the book.
Exactly.
We don't have enough time for this whole show to talk about it.
No, I can't wait.
From day one, everything was a problem. Everything had to be changed. So I kept on having this uneasy feeling because everything I had gone through, and I've been so sick for years and devastated. Now I not only lost my identity because I couldn't speak any longer and get involved with my kids from Hugs and Smiles.
Yes.
I literally, physically have no identity. So I have no identity emotionally and I have no identity physically. Who am I? You know, that really was so overwhelming with the fear and the panic of everything. And how was I supposed to go through these next weeks to get my passport? I mean, it was a movie. And quite honestly,
Yes.
I got home. Like I said, I never intended to write the book. I started writing this as a movie.
Not your time.
A suspenseful thriller. And I've had that out-of-body experience watching this woman, like, this can't be me. Every single step of the way, every day, there was an issue every day. It was horrible. And how does one go through this? I was doing mental gymnastics, you know, emotionally, physically, spiritually. I didn't know how to rein it in. And it was just so palpable and frightening.
And from this was the beginning seeds of your writing the book, and hopefully it's going to be made into a movie.
Right. So I wrote it as a movie and I gave it to a producer friend and he goes, Tina, you have to write a book. I'm like, what? He says, you've got to write the book. I go, oh my God, I've got to write the book. And I couldn't. And I'm like, the next day I started writing. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm actually writing this and all of my emotions every step of the way.
It was cathartic. It was cathartic.
I don't know, but I was traumatized every day.
How long did it take you to write this book, my love?
2 years.
2 years. Well, I tell us more. But first off, the title of the book is Fear to Faith. It's so fitting for all this that you share with us. And there's so much more that you share with us. Because what you're doing is you're helping others to recover their strength, reclaim their confidence, and find purpose through adversity. Because one of the bullet points that you gave me is don't ever give up on yourself. Don't ever give up on yourself.
And don't
tell us more about this book, where they can find it. You said you're having a signing, or it's already launched, but you're having a signing. Give us more information in the minutes that we have left about this book, because we want people to get this book and read it, because it's powerful.
Well, the book also has a lesson after every chapter.
Ooh.
So every chapter has lesson 1. Make sure to double and triple check all of your passport, your ID. have duplicates, make sure to not to ever carry, so every chapter has something like don't carry your tote bag, you need something zipped up, especially walking on the streets of Italy. So these are really, so every chapter is a reflection of certain things and how to
Mm.
guide. So if you're going through a trauma and you start reflecting back from the past, say to yourself, I survived death before. I survived death before. I'm going to make it. So if that was the reflections of my book of how I survived, I tapped into my resilience. I realized I am strong. I
Yes, yes,
can do
yes.
this. And my faith came through. So it's not only the story, it's a reflections and it's a guideline of lessons learned, which I think most of us will take away and say, oh my God, I know this, but I don't apply it. And it's so
Yes.
easy. And
Hmm.
it's so easy,
And you know what, Tina, what you just said is so powerful. Just take a breath for just a second because it's a reflection and more. But that reflection hopefully will resonate and ignite something in all of us because what you just said is so true. Many of us reflect back and we say, and we know we ought to, woulda, coulda, shoulda, done, but we didn't. Good for you. All right.
Right. And when I was writing this, I realized this is not only my story, it's your story. It's your
Exactly.
neighbor's story because we've all experienced pain and trauma.
Hmm.
And, granted, my circumstance is very unusual. Not too many people are stranded twice in Italy and left with nothing.
Yeah. Well, we don't really know, do because none of the people talk about it.
Yeah,
They
I
don't
don't know
talk about
twice in one, yeah,
it.
but considering all of that, we've all gone through that pain. How do we get through it? Who do
Hmm.
we go to? So that's kind of what I'm sharing, and I realized I'm writing it for you, and it wasn't for me. So I'm hoping that my story will actually help people and
Yes.
inspire them to take control of who they are. And the most importantly, don't let those negative forces seep in because that could really take you to another level.
Right. Don't let them sink in and take you down. Because
Correct.
if anything, they're there to give you whatever lesson it is to give you. And the good, bad, and the I don't like the word ugly, the good, bad, and the so-so, whatever that lesson is, I'm going through one myself. It's to give you something rather than to take. You think it's taking from you, but it's giving you something. Look at what it gave you, the resilience to
Hmm.
keep standing and
Correct.
to keep moving forward and to say it's not my time. That was said to you, but you realized it now, and boom, 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 you're sharing that with other people. I think that is so profound and so glorious in so many ways for all of us. I tell you, I don't know where the time goes here, but I want you to share with us at the end here, because what you said to me is that don't give up on yourself was the ending bullet that you gave me, and I love that. So tell us a little bit more about what you want people to walk away with, the takeaway, something that you want them to have as food for thought, where they can purchase this book, your book signing, whatever you want to share with us. You have time now to do that.
Okay. The three things that I want to share is with all of us here on this on this interview is
Hmm.
you're bolder than you think. You're more courageous than you believe. And you're smarter than you know. Because if you've gone through all of the things that you have gone through at this point, you already have all of these attributes. Don't, and remember that, and tap into that when you are struggling. Now, the next thing is very important, set boundaries for yourself.
Yes.
Learn to say no. Schedule your own private time as well. Do something for yourself. You schedule time for everyone else.
Not
Aren't
for
you the most important person?
yeah.
You have to schedule for you your own personal time, whether it's a dance class, going to the gym, taking a walk, going to your faith base, wherever that might be. This is your time, and you can't fit it in. You say, "Sorry, I can't do it." And if anyone ever says, "Well, you're not here for me," you know what? Say bye-bye, because they are not respecting who you are and your
Exactly.
own presence. You've got to
Absolutely.
take care of you before you take care of everyone else.
Hmm.
And second of all, ask for help when you need it. Don't be that entrepreneur that thinks you can do everything on your own. Because you probably can and you do, but you know what? It drains your energy. You need help. Reach out, but reach out to those people who really love you and support you, not the ones who are the negative, who are going to tell you, I told you you couldn't do it. Go to the ones that really inspire you and say, hey, I'm here with you. We can do this together. So I hope that this helps everyone out in the audience. And just remind yourself, like, hey, she's right. I can do this. I don't want to hear that negative, energy coming into my head anymore. So stand up for yourself and be you.
I think you nailed it, and I don't think anybody could have expressed it more clearly, with clarity, than you just did, Tina. And thank you for being here. I'm overwhelmed with all of the data that you shared. I had a wee bit inkling of some of it, but not to the depth that you shared, and I know there's more. I'm going to say thank you from my heart to yours. Much love. I'm going to put you in the green room. Stay still, and I'll be back with you in just a second. Oh my goodness, my League of Eagles. As we close today, this episode of Joy's Radio, Leaders in Light, Love, and Legacy, remember much of what Tina Weiss ended with. Your presence is not something you perform, it's something you embody. And she gave us so much to share with that. When your outer expression aligns with your inner truth, you don't just enter rooms, you shift them. And if this conversation spoke to you, I invite you to continue this journey with me. And if you're getting any value out of this video, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And share this with friends that you know would appreciate, especially what our featured guests shared with you today. Join me weekly to explore more episodes and step into your own leadership presence, because Tina Weiss has certainly shown us how to do that today. Join me again next Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern on Joy's Radio. And you can also find us on my website, YouTube channel, Apple Podcasts, which is coming very soon, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, and wherever you do, don't forget to subscribe. Like, comment, and share each episode with friends and have them come and invite them to us, to be with us. And remember the theme. We heard a lot about this in a different verbiage, but it all is impactful. The theme is the power to care and the power to lead. And I think Tina left us with a lot of food for thought. But what she left me with, there's so much. But after this wonderful book she's written, Fear to Faith, after each chapter, there's a lesson for each of us to reflect on and to get to know and embody. And she said that all of us are bolder and more courageous than we know. And that's something you can reflect on, because that is poem of wisdom and the power to you. Stand in your truth, elevate your presence, and own the spotlight with grace. My featured guest speaker has shared so much wisdom with all of us, and love. I love how she's emotional. She brings her own emotions to the fore, and she's not fearful to share them. That's a lesson for all of us, especially all of us who are more or less in every way on every type of social media platform that there is. With light and love from my heart to yours, my Eagles, be and stay well, sending you much, much love from now and always, from my heart to yours. Much love. Cheers.